Your phone buzzes on a Saturday. A job offer, a baby photo, then a text. We need to talk about money. You both said later about a prenup. Later arrived as a crisis. Let's talk about how preseason planning keeps that from blowing up your life.
Welcome to Danny's Den. Let's chat.
Quick plain language definition. A prenuptial agreement is a written plan you make before you marry that says who gets what and how certain financial choices are handled if the relationship ends. It can cover assets, debts, business interests, and yes, sometimes how you'll handle money for children. But it isn't a magic wand. It doesn't automatically override a court's duty to protect a child's best interests. Let me tell you about a client I once saw. Just a tiny snapshot. She was in the hospital waiting room, coffee gone cold, when a phone call said her spouse lost a job and the family business was suddenly at risk. They had put off a prenup. That delay turned months of legal fighting into weeks of fear for the kids' stability. If they'd agreed in advance on basic protections, life insurance, emergency funds tied to the children's needs, a plan for temporary support, so much of that scramble could have been avoided. I share that because prenups aren't just for rich people or cold contracts. They're preseason planning. They give structure when life throws a curveball. Now, some myths I hear all the time. Myth 1, they're unromantic. Truth, talking about protecting each other and your children is an act of care. Start from values, protecting your family, and the conversation lands differently. Myth 2, only the wealthy need them. Not true. Student loans, a small business, future inheritances, or children from a prior relationship are all reasons to consider one. Myth 3. Courts toss these all the time. Courts will enforce a prenup if it was fair, signed freely, and both people had a chance for independent advice and full disclosure. Let's talk about children specifically. You can't sign away a child's right to support, but you can build practical protections around their welfare. For example, you can agree that both parents will maintain life insurance policies, naming minor children as beneficiaries, or that each party will contribute a set amount or percentage toward a joint education fund. Those are planning tools. Courts will still review custody and support based on the child's best interests, but having clear expectations reduces conflict and makes emergency decisions easier. Here's a plain language sample clause just to illustrate the tone, not legal advice. Each parent will maintain life insurance with the minor children named as beneficiaries, and each parent agrees to contribute either $200 per month or 3% of gross monthly income, whichever is greater, into a joint education savings account while the children are minors. Short, specific, and flexible enough to be workable. Run anything you draft by your attorney. Every family and state is different. Curious. So how do you actually bring this up without making it feel like an accusation? Try this. I love you, and I want to make sure if anything unexpected happens, our kids and our plans are protected. Can we talk with a lawyer about options together? That frames it as protection, not distrust. Practical steps, broken down so they sound like a conversation, not a legal lecture. First, full disclosure. I mean everything. Assets, debts, side gigs, student loans, business documents. Sounds awkward, but it saves fights later. Second, independent counsel. Each person should meet their own lawyer, so nobody can later say they were pressured. Third, timing. Don't sign the week of the wedding. Sign at least 30 days before the ceremony. Better yet, give yourselves several months to discuss and revise calmly. Language matters. Avoid vague phrases like support as needed with no definition. Instead, name a process. Mediation first, then arbitration, or a neutral accountant to value a business. And if you might move states, include a clear choice of law line so there's less surprise about which rules apply. Okay, sports analogy time, because it helps. Think Eagles and Yankees preseason. Coaches don't wait for the fourth quarter to sort who calls plays. They set roles, plan backups, and rehearse responses to injuries. A prenup is your preseason playbook for family life. When a midseason twist happens, job loss, illness, relocation, you already know who covers what and how decisions get made. That prevents chaos and preserves what matters, your kids and your peace of mind. Music moment, quick thought. Couples build playlists as memory banks. Little things like messages or shared song lists can show timelines, moods, and commitments. In rare cases, digital notes become part of a dispute. That doesn't mean stop making memories. It just means be mindful that digital things can speak louder later than you expect. Now, a fast checklist to bring to an attorney. Short beats so you can actually read this in the car. 1. A full list of assets and debts with values. Bank accounts, retirement, student loans. 2. Any existing court orders or agreements. 3. Business paperwork. Ownership percentages, partnership agreements. 4. What you want to protect. Heirlooms, a business, college money. 5. Ask your lawyer, would this hold up in my state, and what would make it vulnerable?
Red flags. Pressure to sign right before the ceremony, missing disclosure, or being told you can't get your own lawyer. If that happens, pause. That's coercion, not planning.
A few final quick thoughts. Keep the conversation values first, not fear first. Use clear, specific language. Give yourselves enough time. And remember, a prenup that respects both people and the kids reduces stress later and preserves whatever you want to build together. If you want help framing questions for your attorney, send a message on the show page or drop a comment with your scenario. I read them and sometimes use listener questions for future episodes. If this episode was helpful, subscribe so you don't miss practical guides like this. Thanks for listening to Danny's Den. If you have a specific legal issue you'd like help with, send a direct message through the show page to book a free 30-minute consultation and see if I can help. Leave a comment with a question for a future episode. Let's chat.